I think I'm gonna call it there. I think it turned out okay. I was most concerned about getting the eyes and the face area to look right. Obviously not realistic. It's stylized, and art doesn't necessarily have to reflect reality. I like how the burning turned out. The talons and on the nose and around his eyes. Anyway, that's it for now. If you made it this far, thanks a lot for watching. Hope you tune in for more projects in Cammy's garage.